Hello. I'm sorry for not uploading for a while. I've had a ton of real life events happen. I've also just been too busy playing Rivals.
Armed and again! Again! Again!
Anyways, before we start, thank you all for being so patient with me. I plan on working on tons of projects this year, so hopefully I can provide enough content for the year. If you enjoy the video, I'd appreciate it if you were to give it a like and maybe perchance press that red button. My goal for this year is to hit 1,000 subscribers, so if you enjoy the stuff I make, I recommend you do that. And without further ado, I hope you enjoy the video. It's early December. It's almost the end of the semester. You're struggling in classes and your homework is the only thing keeping you from failing. You get home, open your backpack, only to realize your homework is missing. It's due tomorrow, so what do? Late Homework was released on October 30th, 2024, developed by SodaRaptor, creator of Interior Worlds and Hypnagogia. Late Homework is a survival horror game where the goal is to get back to school and, get this, grab your late homework. However, with most games, there's something evil lurking within. The game opens with a screen warning us about the content in the game, and also an epilepsy warning. It also tells us that playing alone in the dark will give us the best experience. I don't really have a choice, so we are already doing great. We follow Hanako in her journey to find her missing homework at her secondary school. The actual game begins with Hanako on a bus heading to school. She's talking about how rough the school year has been and mentions how crucial the assignments are. She also mentions how seniors talk about an entity that lives in the school. Hanako believes that these are just jokes and rumors, but then she mentions that there have been several missing students in the past year. She again just brushes it off as just a rumor. These stories aren't what's important to her right now. What's important to her is her homework. Hanako's mother texts her, asking her where she has gone. Hanako tells her mother about the assignment and reassures her that she will return soon for dinner. The mother tells Hanako that she has been detached and that everybody's worried for her. After this interaction, Hanako experiences a headache. She takes a bottle of pills out and takes a pill. Arriving at the school, Hanako is tasked with finding an entrance. This intro area serves as a tutorial, teaching us some mechanics, what we should expect with puzzles, and helps us introduce us to the world. Immediately, we can find numerous similarities to games such as Silent Hill or Resident Evil. The game uses old school tank controls where you move left or right to face a direction and then press forward or backward to move. If you're not used to these controls, it can take a while to understand how it works. This intro area is full of all kinds of things. For starters, literally the first paper we find talks about how a 17-year-old student named Mitsuki had gone missing. She was last seen by her friends near the school. She started acting really detached. She was seeing the counselor a lot. Now, this missing student will be important later. We can already see some similarities with Hanako and this missing student, with the detachment from social life and academic struggles. Near this paper, Hanako also finds a phone book dangling off a payphone. Everything is marked over except for the numbers 4339. The book also contains some writing talking about a coin being lost in the bathroom somewhere. Once we enter the next area, we learn about the phone flashlight. Just press one button and you've got it. This doesn't have a battery, it doesn't affect gameplay, it literally is just there to make it easier to see. We find another payphone wrapped in barbed wire and an alley. The alley has more information about Mitsuki, like her last name and what she was wearing, just to give a bit more immersion. The alley is plastered with missing posters for Mitsuki. The next area has us going into a bathroom to find a key for a storage room. In this room we can find another number and... We find some wire cutters and head back to the payphone. Once opened, we can enter in 3 different numbers, one being the number on the paper and missing posters. Another can be found by combining the 7 numbers we found in the phone book and in the storage room. This number will progress the story. The final one is an Easter egg, and once you enter it, you unlock an achievement alongside a new costume. As of recording this, the game has 11 different costumes to unlock. They're purely cosmetic, but some of these costumes are so fun. Entering the number from the missing poster plays this strange audio. I put it in a spectrograph, but I don't think that helps us at all. I'm sure it's just for telling us that there is no help or that something is tampering with the electronics. Once we enter the right number, the phone will explode and give us a magnet, which we can use to fish a coin out of the bathroom shower. Once we get the coin, the ground beneath us begins to rumble. Turns out, sinkholes have been forming around the school as of late. It gets dangerous, so we have to act fast. And we see some sort of creature entering the school. We use the coin to buy the key from this vending machine and finally enter the school. The gate shuts behind us, but Hanako decides to keep moving forward and that we will find a way to open the gate later. Now, this is where the game really begins. That intro was a way to set up the tone for the game, as well as to give us an area where we can learn the mechanics and what to expect later on. Before Hanako opens the computer, we can find a piece of our homework. Once we collect it, a counter appears in the corner of our screen. We now know there are 10 pieces we must find in order to finish the game. Once we are on the computer, we can find many files here, some more useful than others. For example, the supply room file allows us to enter the supply room and save, as well as to open the door to the school. The email tab lets us read into some of the messages that are passed around the school staff, like how the administrator announces the closure of the entire second floor and some classrooms on the first. We also learn about another character, Dr. Tomo. The administrator talks about working with Dr. Tomo to dispel the recent incriminating and untrue rumors surrounding the school. Weird. Another email describes that a delivery truck had been cancelled due to the sinkholes. The email reads that it will stay classified as per request. This email is for Dr. Tomo, so clearly there was something strange going on in the school, and Dr. Tomo was involved with it. Whatever it is, it sounds dangerous. Other files on the computer consist of codes, cute pics, and a video. This video has a code to open the cute pics, and believe me, it's worth it. Once we open the main door and collect this map, we finally start the game. We are not alone. These halls are patrolled by this demon thing. This thing is dangerous as just touching it spells the end for Hanako. So those rumors were true about the demon walk in the halls and dismantling any students. Now, we don't have any information, no direction to go, nor any clue as to where our homework may be, all while we have this monster chasing us. And as I explored the school, I noticed that this is heavily inspired by Midwich Elementary School from Silent Hill. Now, for most, this must be a cool little reference from a game on the PlayStation. But for me, you know what this really reminds me of? As we explore the school, we find that most doors are inaccessible, and as we interact with the environment, our map updates. In order to progress, we must complete puzzles around the school, and as we complete each one, we find more pieces of our homework. In the chemistry room, we can see this liquid in a hard-to-reach area, so we need to get a stepladder. In the ISS room, we can find a hole in the wall, so we may need something to break it. In the classroom has a TV that needs a VHS tape. The first room we must visit is the day room. A ghost child is seen walking into the darkness. Following it leads us to a note, Diary Entry Number 5. I won't go into what this note says quite yet, as I will be discussing the story later on. Farther into the day room we find a ladder. We take the ladder into the chemistry room to get the beaker of acid, to pour on this weird web-like organism to enter the garden. Find something, use it on something else. The game is not very long, only lasting about 30 to 50 minutes. While being a short game, it is both immersive and terrifying. The music captures the mysterious yet terrifying feeling you get when you're somewhere you're familiar with, but there's something wrong with it. The early PlayStation aesthetic matches with the theme almost perfectly. The Silent Hill inspiration is there and just adds the overall experience, giving it a nostalgic feeling. Now, the story is something else. We learn about it based on cutscenes and text we can find throughout the game. The story is fairly short, but the fact that the game even has a story is pretty crazy enough itself. Without wasting any more time, here's my interpretation of Late Homework's story. A man by the name of Dr. Shota Tomo, a school counselor from Fushigina, and an unnamed person only known as the administrator. Dr. Shomo is a monster of some sort. He roams the halls looking for someone or something. His intentions are violent, and is willing to rip apart anything in its path. This monster within is becoming stronger. Dr. Tomo doesn't know how or why this being within is part of him. Now, before we continue, we need to talk about Mitsuki, a 17-year-old from Fushigina, who is returning from spring break. And she is already stressed out about school. First day back from spring break, and the subject I hate the most just had to be on my schedule. She goes to say that she is planning on talking to the school admin about possibly changing her school schedule. 2.5 weeks go by, and Mitsuki finally has the opportunity to talk to the school admin. I managed to talk with him about changing schedules. He recommended I go talk to the counselor, Dr. Tomo. He said I needed to focus more on my current classes. It's complete nonsense. My parents won't even call them to help straighten things out. I'm on my own, I guess. Mitsuki feels alone, something I'm sure we have all experienced in school. Unfortunately for Mitsuki, this feeling only gets worse. Feeling like a complete zombie today. I don't feel like I got enough sleep last night. These classes are draining the life out of me. I wish my parents hadn't transferred me here. A week later, Mitsuki begins to feel strong migraines and is sent to see Dr. Tomo. They sent me to see the counselor again today. He wrote me a prescription for some sort of medicine. Now, if you were paying attention to the opening cutscene, we can see something similar happening with Hanako. She begins to get a migraine and takes some pills. So these pills are definitely an important factor on the story. This is solidified by both the email we found in the computer and a note in a locker alongside several empty pill bottles. Both tell us that the supply of pills is low due to the sinkholes forming around the area, causing the delivery trucks to delay, which forces Dr. Tomo to taper the dosage. Dr. Tomo clearly has a problem with this, which tells us that the pills are extremely important. Whatever they are part of something bigger. Been taking those pills every day now. I've been feeling strange, but they say I need to keep taking them. For some reason I haven't felt like leaving the school lately. Dr. Tomo says it's best I stay until I'm better. The beds in the day room are so comfortable. At this point of the game, we would have obtained the sledgehammer from a locker room, broken down the broken wall in the classroom, and accessed the boiler room. There is a slab behind some steam, and we must turn these valves in a specific way to access the slab. A notebook can be found in the room as well. It reads, "Finished bricking the boiler room wall. I'm sick and tired of being the man in the middle. Now those cretins will never find me. The slab and my dignity are all I have left." The admin knew how bad it was going to get. I tried to tell him. I was right. Only a matter of time before it overtakes me. Anyone I see will split right down the middle. She'll stay in my office forever. She'll never leave. Things for them will never be right again. What are these ramblings? Only an absolutely demented individual would say such things. This was written by Dr. Tomo. He had bricked himself into the boiler room before he was overtaken by the monster within him. Using the clues from this journal, we can access the slab and use it to open Dr. Tomo's office. Upon entering the room, we can find another entry from Mitsuki. Dr. Tomo upped my dosage yesterday. Been feeling the worst I've ever felt in my entire life. Everything is always spinning and I can't sit still. I haven't heard from my parents at all. Do they even care about me? From the newspaper we found earlier, the parents are far from neglectful. So no one is communicating to the parents what is happening with Mitsuki. Continuing on, we can find a hidden lever behind this bookshelf which reveals a secret staircase with another note. The admin came to remove me from the day room today. He wants me to stay in Dr. Tomo's office from now on. When I arrived, all the teachers were waiting for me. I told them all I wanted to do was go home, but they insisted I needed to stay and upped my dosage again. At the bottom of the stairs, we are met with a shadowy figure and another note. I don't know where I am right now. Head feels so heavy. My body is writhing, as if something is trying to tear its way out. I cannot take this anymore. Everyone has abandoned me. I'm all alone now. Farther into this room, we can find a curtain. And upon opening it, Mitsuki's final journey entry can be found here. Red, Tomo, meet, pulse, belong, here, won't take me. Our final piece of homework is in the next room. Now, this cutscene confuses me. I may have missed something, but I believe this is Dr. Tomo. This cutscene is showing us that the monster that is Tomo is now dead. And since Mitsuki is also dead, the monster within her was never born. Once we leave the office, the school is lit up and covered in police tape. In the courtyard, we can find a final piece of lore. Case number 12390, date, redacted. Reporting officer, Detective Matsumoto. Dispatched early this morning to Fushijina and met with the school's administrator, redacted, and a Dr. Shota Tomo. Upon questioning each on their involvement in the events leading up to the disappearance of student Mitsuki, they both seem adamant that nothing correlated between it and the school. I pressed Dr. Toma on what his defense was regarding the accusation of distributing narcotics to students, which he replies he has never prescribed any such drugs. Administrator, redacted, interrupted by stating that Dr. Tomo doesn't even have the authority to write prescriptions, and that the accusations were unfounded. Both parties have expressed their condolences for the girl's disappearance and wish their best for those affected. Despite a few abnormalities involving the structural and sanitary state of the school, our investigation team hasn't turned up anything incriminating so far. Due to the lack of evidence and funds, this case will be shelved in the coming weeks after the final reports are finished. Whatever those prescription drugs were, they were the reason the monster within these people never got out. And once the delivery truck was delayed due to the sinkholes, the low dosage caused the monster to fully release itself. After this, we can access the front gates using the word failed and finally escape Fushijina, and hopefully putting the rest the evil entities. Now, there are a couple things I couldn't quite figure out, like the boys' bathroom being in such a rough shape, and the room full of VHS tapes with labels consisting of a date and the words Fushijina event. This just tells me that the school has a history of tragic or mysterious events. Late Homework is a short yet sweet indie game. The game illustrates how untreated struggles can spiral into tragedy. Mitsuki's fate is the reflection of the isolation, struggle, and stress students can face. Mitsuki's story can unfortunately be relatable to most, if not all, students. Many of us know what it's like to feel overwhelmed and isolated in a stressful environment. The game captures that anxiety in a surreal and unsettling way. If you are a student who struggles, I highly recommend finding the resources you need, whether that's talking to a counselor, a teacher, or even a fellow classmate. The game's PS1 style graphics mixed with several horror elements make for a fun little game. SodaRaptor is an extremely talented game developer. Late Homework shows SodaRaptor's clever way of blending surreal storytelling and thoughtful game design. If you're into atmospheric indie games, I highly recommend playing some of their games. I definitely give Late Homework a play, as I hadn't mentioned all the puzzles, Easter eggs, unlockables, and more. I'd love to hear what you think about Late Homework. What is your interpretation of the story? Do you relate to the academic stress? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded, but I hope I made the wait worth it. I plan on making a couple more videos this year, while my goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you would like to help me with that goal and you happen to enjoy what I make, feel free to subscribe. Other than that, thank you again for watching, and until next time.